My name's Elly, I work for Nomad. I've been here for 5 years now and I'm the head of business services. So I'm in charge of basically everything that makes Nomad bigger and better, essentially. It's probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah, and I'm Mollie, I'm business services lead. I've worked for Nomad for coming up 3 years or 4 years now.
Yeah, 4, yeah.
And I do most of the onboarding for our B2B clients and account management.
It started in 1991, so it's quite an old business, and it started as a market stall run by two brothers. One was a expedition kind of all in, like in the wilderness kind of guy, and his brother was a very scientific pharmacist. And they kind of came together to create this travel health business, and that's really grown and evolved over the last 30 years. We now provide a whole range of travel health services, as well as a few occupational health services. And that includes vaccinations, antimalarials, kit outs, expedition kit outs, doctor screening, psychosocial support for before and after any kind of work overseas or expeditions, and like I said, a range of occupational health services now that we work with like schools and universities across the UK. So we kind of do like the whole shebang. Yeah, it's probably the best way of describing it.
So we work with a lot of production companies, supporting them on filming overseas and anything they're doing. So that's anything from hiking, filming with animals, filming underwater, a lot of interesting projects that we work on, and that's something that we follow through from the beginning of production, from filming to then as the show comes out. So that's a really exciting part of my job and part of what we do at Nomad as well.
Yeah, we work a lot with the BBC, and we also do things like risk assessments. So when they contact us, our nurses will say, what are you doing, where are you going? And this is kind of everything that Mollie just said in terms of the vaccines and the kits and everything that they should expect to factor into their trip. And when they come back, if anyone's feeling unwell and wants to actually see like a travel medic, for example, we get a lot of people with like parasites and things on return, which is, the doctors think it's fun, it's a bit gross, but they love it. And those guys come back and we can do all the kind of post-travel screening as well, and the post-travel mental health support, depending on what they've done, because I think especially for documentary filmmakers, sometimes they see like quite intense things overseas. So like I said, we cover the whole kind of holistic end-to-end side of things. I think especially for anyone that's coming to explore, that's doing like their own trip, whether it's individual or group, you should be factoring in at least 2 months in advance. We say this because of the whole planning side. You've got the budgetary side of things, but you've also got timeline side of things, especially with vaccinations. So a lot of vaccinations, for example, hepatitis B or rabies, they require multiple doses over multiple weeks. So that really needs to be factored in. So we do get people coming to us a week or two before saying, oh my goodness, I need these jabs, I need this kit, and we scramble and we try and get it done. But we always advise that if you come like even 4 weeks, but realistically 2 months prior to your trip, we can kind of factor in the budgeting side, the timeline side, and make sure that everything's done in good enough time so you're not stressing just before you go out.
From the point of booking, really, it's something that you need to be thinking about. Travel health, obviously, budget-wise and things like that. It's not just your kit that you've got to buy, it's the vaccinations, the prices as well. So I would say from booking, it's something you would look into, and then more permanently, like Elly said, 2 months before. We're hoping that at Explore this year, we can talk to a lot more people about making sure people are thinking more about travel health, not just the equipment side of things, but the vaccinations. I think, as Elly said, after COVID, a lot more people are more health aware, and I think we have a responsibility as well when we're going to these different countries to make sure we're protected. And I think for me, that's something that we want to make sure people take responsibility of, and then for their own safety as well. So it would be good also to be working with a lot more organisations that going overseas and making sure that they're well equipped, and keeping their employees safe as well.
At Nomad, so we've got 3 clinics in London, we've got a clinic in Cardiff, Manchester and Bristol, and we've got a whole range of remote services. We have our own customer services team, so we recommend anybody that's going out on an expedition. So anyone from Explore that is planning an expedition, or if you work with groups that regularly do expeditions, you get in touch with our customer services centre. All of that information's on the website, which is www.nomadtravel.co.uk, and the customer services team will look after you. They'll point you in the right direction of the right department, and they'll pass on basically any relevant information to the relevant teams, and that way we can work with you, whether it's an individual trip, is a different route say than a group trip, but that's something our customer services team will help you with. And you can also just come and speak to us at any time. If you pick up the phone and ask to speak to Elly or ask to speak to Mollie, we'll be able to get in touch and advise you of the best thing to do for your trip.